All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about something super critical, how to get AI systems evaluated and validated for what are called GxP environments. We're talking about places where good practice regulations are law, and just saying, hey, it works, well, that's not even close to good enough. And this quote right here, this is the absolute heart of the matter. It's a completely different mindset from a lot of tech development. You can't just run a successful demo and call it a day. In the GxP world, seeing a system get something right one time, that proves almost nothing. Trust is never, ever based on just appearances. So if appearances don't matter, how do you actually build trust? Well, it's through this three-step process: evaluation, validation, and control. This isn't about hope or gut feelings. It's a methodical, evidence-driven journey to prove, without a doubt, that a system is fit for its job and operates exactly as it's supposed to. And here's the big challenge, isn't it? GxP environments are all about predictability, about correctness you can count on. But AI, well, it's often probabilistic. It doesn't always give you the exact same answer twice. Now, that's not a deal breaker, but it means we have to approach this whole validation thing in a very, very specific way. To get there, we first have to get crystal clear on two words that people mix up all the time. But in this world, they mean totally different things. I'm talking about evaluation versus validation. Okay, so first up is evaluation. Think of this as the discovery phase. We're basically playing detective. We're just asking, what does this thing actually do? We're pushing it, trying to find its limits, seeing how it performs, and just as importantly, how it fails under all kinds of conditions. Validation, on the other hand, is completely different. It's the formal judgment. After we've done all that detective work during evaluation, we take that evidence and we ask a much more specific question. Okay, is this system fit for this one specific job? It's the final verdict, not an open-ended exploration. So here's the bottom line. Evaluation is exploratory, it's continuous, we're always learning, but validation, that's formal and it's documented. It is a moment in time where you declare, based on all your evidence, that the system is ready for its intended purpose. You absolutely cannot have one without the other. And this is the question, right? This is the one that stops so many teams dead in their tracks. If an AI model doesn't give you the exact same output every single time, how on earth can you validate it for an environment that demands such high standards? And this is the key that unlocks the whole puzzle. GxP validation doesn't actually require perfectly deterministic behavior. What it requires is documented behavior. That means you have to understand its variability, you have to measure it, and you have to prove that its range of behavior stays within acceptable limits for the job it's meant to do. This brings us to the next big pillar for building trust in any GxP system. You have to have a relentless focus on collecting evidence, not just cherry-picking a few good examples. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. One amazing output from your AI model, all that shows is what's possible. It says literally nothing about whether the system is reliable. Reliability is only proven through a whole body of evidence collected over time that shows the system consistently performs the way you've documented it should. The trick here is that evidence collection has to be part of the system's architecture from the ground up. See that foundational layer, the evidence and audit plane? It's not some add-on. It's the base of the whole structure, designed to capture every action so that everything is recorded and auditable. Okay, so we know we need evidence, but for what exactly? Not every little thing an AI does needs the same intense level of formal validation. The key is figuring out where to draw the line. And that line is what we call the authority boundary. The question you have to ask is this: is the AI system just assisting a person, maybe offering suggestions, or does it have the authority to directly influence a regulated process all by itself? The moment it crosses that line and gets authority, it has crossed the validation boundary. Looking at our diagram again, you can actually see this boundary in action. Those approval gates and that execution-constrained line, that's it. That's the exact point where the system's authority kicks in. On one side of the line, things are exploratory. On the other side, every single action is formally controlled. That's the boundary. So once your AI is operating inside that validation boundary, your entire design philosophy has to shift to be about control. And that means you have to design for the two things you can always count on. Things will change and things might fail. You can see how this is baked right into the control plane. That change control loop, it's not some paperwork you do at the end. It's an integrated, closed loop. When a model gets updated, that change is formally assessed and revalidated before it gets to influence the system again. And what about when things go wrong? Because, they sometimes do. A validated system has to have a plan. Notice those explicit red lines for stop and revert. These aren't just vague ideas. They are designed, validated ways to make sure the system can be safely stopped or rolled back. This is so important to get right. Kicking off a revalidation process is not a sign of failure. It's the exact opposite. It's a sign that the system is working perfectly, as designed. It is the hallmark of operating responsibly in these environments. So how do we pull all of these pieces together? Well, it all boils down to one final, overarching principle that connects everything we've talked about. You have to design for validation from day one. This isn't something you can just tack on at the end. It means you define your evaluation plans and your exact acceptance criteria before you even start coding. It means you automate your evidence capture and make it mandatory. And it means your AI models are treated like any other core component in your change control process. No special exceptions. Now, just to be super clear here, what we're talking about are the guiding principles for making AI work in a GxP world. This explainer isn't a regulatory approval for any one system. The goal here is to give you the framework so you can have the right conversations with your quality and regulatory folks. So let's end right where we started. In GxP environments, your confidence doesn't matter. Cool demos don't matter. The only thing that matters is cold, hard, documented evidence. And when we build systems that produce this evidence by their very design, we can finally unlock the incredible power of AI safely and effectively.